Tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Talk is here. It's ready. It's New Year's Eve. We talk Dallas's big win, Philly's big loss, San Francisco bounces back, and a special round of trivia. Stick around. It gets hot. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, if you're new to my YouTube series, give it a subscribe because all my content is up there. My movie series, my long-form interviews, the Sunday Night Talk, and all my stand-up comedy clips are up there too. Speaking of stand-up comedy, if you want to see me doing live stand-up comedy, I will be in Venice, California, February 17th. Never done the show before. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So come on out. Let me know you're coming too. Today on the show, Omar joins me. It's New Year's Eve. We tape it after the Sunday night game. We're in New Year's Eve form, so we got a lot to discuss. How's your team doing? A lot of teams are officially out of the playoffs after this week. So, playoffs on the horizon. A pretty good slate coming up next week, too. We'll discuss it. So, why wait? It's New Year's Eve. A new year is starting tomorrow. Maybe it's already started as you hear this. So, let's get to the show. Week 17, the Sunday Night Talk, me and Omar right now. We are recording this 9:28 West Coast time. Omar Carmona joins me with a robe this week. It is New Year's Eve. Omar Carmona, it's New Year's Eve. It really snuck up on me this year.
It really did, but I'm already ready for bed. As soon as this is over, I'm going to pass out.
Yeah, you look like it. You've got a robe on, but you still have your 49ers hat on. You're eating shrimp cocktail.
Shrimp cocktail.
Over there as well. You're looking
cocktail.
very domestic.
A beverage.
Well, it's week 17 in the NFL, and just when we think we've got a handle on what this season is all about, we get more curveballs. We get the Vikings have their fourth quarterback starting in the game, and then they take him out at halftime. The season really is full of all sorts of weird, wacky turns, and now I think we just need to embrace it at this point. Don't you think?
You know, the Vikings is a great story. They had several different starting quarterbacks. Of course, the big one is they never recovered from losing Kirk Cousins. But then, Dobbs comes in. He's the feel-good story. And next thing you know, he's on the bench. And then he's the third quarterback.
Right.
Only goes to show you, especially those teams that are hovering around 500, they're not messing around. Like, they cannot afford to see what your potential is. You need to be winning now.
Yeah. It was really, really funny, the Sunday night game, because we had Mullins came back in. At some point, they flashed to the sidelines, and you're reminded, oh, yeah, Dobbs was on this team. He's just not playing. He's on the bench. And to cap things off, Kirk Cousins does the shirtless chant at the beginning to try and get the fans hyped. I give Kirk Cousins a lot of credit for him still sticking with this team, trying to get him hyped, and he's not even playing. And then the worst part was, while the Vikings are getting killed, they pan over to Kirk Cousins, who's on the sidelines, and even he looks upset. He's like, damn, this team is bad.
He looked miserable watching that team. It's a bad football team without the quarterback. It was
bad. And like we're talking quarterbacks, but the defense was really bad for Minnesota as well. Like, we were like, oh, Mullins, he's throwing picks, or the ball's coming out of his hands weird. The other guy flew his family in from Salt Lake, and he was out in 2 quarters.
Right.
But how about the defense was just bad for Minnesota as well? And one of the good things about Week 17 is now we can totally forget about watching certain games.
Right.
We are at that. It took us 17 weeks, but we're finally at it where we can skip a few games, or at least just power through them.
Both South divisions are playing to the very end. That's awesome.
And they announced it tonight. They flexed Miami Buffalo next week is going to be the Sunday night game. and we get a true capper of a Sunday night. We're like, winner wins the division. How awesome is that? And
Home
we
game,
never would have predicted this 4 weeks ago.
right? Home game. It's a division game. It's a home game that you get, and essentially, you become the team that uh, makes the statement and says, "We are ready to take over for the New England Patriots. We are ready to be the flagship of the AFC East."
Here's my big picture storylines or my headlines for the week in the NFL. I have the Dallas Detroit game Saturday night.
Oh,
The
okay.
Philly loss, the San Francisco win. And then we have the stock up for Baltimore, stock down for Miami. Those are my three big ones
Hmm.
for the week. Where do you want to start?
Let's start last night's game. The game that ends up getting a referee downgraded and not allowed to referee in the playoffs. Of course, we're talking about that controversial penalty for that 2 point conversion where the player for the Lions reported as an eligible receiver, and from what the video showed, it was acknowledged, and then a flag was thrown, ultimately costing the Lions a victory and could cost them a home game in the playoffs.
All right, let me rebut that. There's video of him going to the ref. However, you know the refs announce who's eligible before the play, right? And they say number 70 is reported eligible. They don't say number 68. Secondly, that was an illegal formation as well. The other side, number 70 is covered up. Therefore, he cannot be an eligible receiver. The formation was bad. I mean, you can blame the refs all you want, conspiracy, but the it was called correctly. And if you want
You
to,
think was it a coach's error?
it's a coach's error. It's a formation error. It is like we see video of 68 going up to the referee. However, we don't know what is said to the referee. And furthermore, the referee does not announce on the loudspeaker that 68 is reported as eligible. Okay, but let's take all that into account. Detroit had 3 tries at the 2 point conversion. Parsons jumps off sides, giving them another try. And what's the conspiracy on Goff throwing a bad pass in the flat?
Horrible pass.
So stop with
Horrible
the conspiracies, everybody. That, oh, this is the NFL's for the Cowboys. Stop it. They called it correctly. And if you want to go deeper, the tripping call that was called on Dallas a drive ago was incorrectly called. It was tripping on the Detroit Lions on Aiden Hutchinson. So they got that call wrong. So if you want to bust the refs for something, bust them for that because they got the wrong team penalized there.
What is with you? What is with you coming to Dallas's aid all of a sudden?
I'm not coming to anybody's aid. I am quoting the rules, Omar. This is the and also I love how Twitter blows up after these games, has conspiracy and like it's rigged, blah blah blah. I'm convinced 80% of those tweets and those accounts are all bots too, by the way. Like there's no way we have this much time. And whatever reason you want to find for your team being cheated, you will find it. This is sour grapes by Detroit or anti-Cowboys, whatever. It was called correctly. Are you saying it's not?
The bottom line is Dallas Cowboys got the win. Apparently, they are right now ahead of the Eagles, correct?
Yeah, the Eagles bail out the Cowboys again with the loss. And then last point on the Dallas, at least the end to the Dallas game, Mike McCarthy is begging the Lions to, hey, come take this game from us. Let's throw the ball and and let you save the timeouts. Mike McCarthy got let off the hook here. I like how Detroit was going for 2 instead of kicking the extra point because I was like, please don't go into overtime. Because if it goes to overtime, then we're going to just, whoever wins the coin toss is going to win. Go for 2. I like it. And let's just finish it.
I liked it.
I like that. And you got 3 tries at it. You didn't get it once. So stop it, Dallas. Stop it, conspiracy Twitter. So both teams need this win. I thought this was a big game for Dak too, because Dak had a couple drives where he was near perfect. Lamb sets the record. He's throwing
unbelievable game.
Unbelievable
game.
Dak was perfect at the rollout to his right and then find that receiver.
and on a night where Jimmy Johnson is honored in the Ring of Honor.
Hold on, before we get to the Jimmy Johnson thing, we got to see the rare fumble through the end zone as well. CD Lamb reaches for the end zone and fumbles the ball through the end zone. You still like the rule of fumbling the ball through the end zone and getting it on the 20, or would you change that?
I like it. It's interesting.
Yeah. But it was a true fumble through the end zone. It's not like he was reaching out to cross the plane. Like it just got poked out and fumbled.
Right.
That was a big swing. And then you're right, Jimmy Johnson inducted into the Ring of Honor at halftime. I had a little thought watching it because, number one, Jerry Jones gives a great speech inducting Jimmy Johnson in. I thought they should have brought Mike McCarthy out and said, like, Jimmy, how would you like to coach the Cowboys for the second half?
That's what I was thinking. I think that
would
it was
be great. Jimmy Johnson, would you throw the ball with 2 minutes to go in the lead on their side of the 50? He had to do better than that. They should have had him coach. I really liked it. And then it brought me to the question, this really is one of the great what ifs in sports dynasty history. What if Jimmy Johnson doesn't leave the Cowboys after 2 years? Do they win 4 Super Bowls? Do they win 5? I mean, we'll never know. They win 3 because of the one with Switzer. They lose. They don't go to the Super Bowl the year the 49ers win. Great what if. Like, what do you think if Jimmy Johnson had stayed with the Cowboys? Do you think they would have won how many more Super Bowls?
It could have been, who knows if the Niners get the next Super Bowl,
Right.
So are they the first team that does a three-peat? It's possible.
Very possible. We might be talking Jimmy Johnson as this is what Bill Belichick is trying to chase type of thing. I thought it was really great. The speech too. Jimmy Johnson is like walking around like he's a stand-up comic with the microphone and giving his speech, totally comfortable. And I like that.
Great.
I like that all the other Ring of Honor recipients all wear the blue blazer, but they all could wear whatever shirt they wanted underneath too. So got Michael Irvin had like the brown turtleneck. Emmitt Smith had a nice shirt. Another guy was doing the fat guy move where he wears the button-down shirt untucked under the blaze. And then Troy Aikman, of course, like business. Shirt, tie, blazer. Looked really, really good. I got a quick question for you before we do trivia. How many games do you think Jimmy Johnson has won in his coaching career? This might surprise you.
Jimmy Johnson?
Yeah.
120? No, I know I'm going to go less. I'm going to say he's won 98 games.
Jimmy Johnson has won 80 games. Wow. That is 5 years with the Cowboys and 2 with the Dolphins. So the Shula, I think the Shula record is 340 something. Jimmy Johnson really did not coach that long in the NFL, if you think about it either. It's a great what if, and he's 80 years old, and he's in our life because of the Fox show. I wonder what they could have done. You can't help but wonder, what could they have done if he had stuck around? And I think it's nice that Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson have become friends. Like they've mended whatever beef they had in those. It's good that they're both in their lives. I really, really like the halftime induction. That was really good. I wanted him to coach the second half. That would have been great.
Was special. It was special.
That was great. Back to the game. Dallas field goal kicker. He is perfect for the year. He is 35 for 35. And he said in the pregame, I could make it from 70. Dallas's kicker is on fire. Dak's best drive was for them to go up 17-13. Goff throws a bad pick with 2 minutes left in the game. Dallas got the field goal. They threw it 3 times, 2 incompletes, one was complete. And then we had the Detroit final drive where they don't convert the 2-point conversion. Dallas gets the win. It was a nutty game for Saturday night. I like that Saturday night had a game. I thought that was cool too.
That was nice, and
just one game too.
Yeah, but I think we're done with Saturday night. It's everyone plays Sunday next week.
Yeah,
right?
Is it all Sunday next week?
Yeah, I think so.
Dallas stock goes up, helped by the Philly loss. So let's talk about the Philly loss now. This is going to be a great week of Philly is fraudulent talk, don't you think? Because
Well,
they lose at
they
home to the
haven't they
Cardinals.
they haven't backed it up in weeks.
So what camp are you in? Philly that good? Have they been lying to us all
Not
year?
no, not good. They lied to us last. They just didn't get it together at this point in the season.
What's wrong with them? Like I watched the game and Hurts does Hurts things. He looks good. They're throwing passes, yet somehow Arizona is in this game. Maybe it's a defense thing. Arizona put up a lot of points on them.
They even had a 98-yard pick six. You know how demoralizing
Right.
was that? You
Yeah,
know,
early in the game, they got a defensive score. Yeah, Arizona 35 points in this game. It's tied going into the fourth quarter. I got concerns about Philly. But I don't want to go that route because I know this NFL season is just weird. Like they're going to be awesome the first two rounds of the playoffs you watch.
no. Well, I don't
But they're
know. You know,
weird.
let's say a team like the Los Angeles Rams go to Philadelphia. I may take the Rams.
You think so?
Yeah,
Oh, I definitely think like there'll be some heavy betting action because Philly, if you're like Arizona scored 35 on you,
right.
we can put up 25. Come on. And we're not even going to give up a pick six potentially. I thought this was a good game for Kyler Murray too. He's fun out there. He's moving
Hmm.
around. He's throwing deep passes. Really, really interesting game. And we're going to hear nonstop Philly is a fraud talk this week. It's going to happen. And they really just bail out Dallas. That horrible
Really,
loss Dallas had, Philly just put them right back in the number one spot.
they're not good. Not good.
Okay, flip it. San Francisco had a full week of Purdy's a fraud. He's a system quarterback. He's no MVP. They come out today and they really lay it down. And Purdy not only was doing the throw it to Debo and he runs 100, Purdy was scrambling and finding some wide open receivers while he's improvising. So
I'm telling you,
back to Purdy.
there are a lot more comparisons that Brock Purdy has to Tom Brady, but one being that those feet keep plays alive, and then he makes a quality throw. Um, his patience, but we are the road to the Super Bowl goes through San Francisco this year.
Yeah, they clinched the home field. Purdy's stock is up. Where were you this week on all the Purdy bashing?
I'm glad it happened because now he has to prove himself, and he took a punch to the face. So this may be the adversity he needs.
It really is like week to week. Like whatever happens, you find a case to back up what you thought. Like so many people were like with the Purdy thing. See, he's not good. It was like, but we were talking about him MVP a week ago. It's really a reactionary league. The Dallas penalty debacle, the Purdy last week, Philly
Right,
this week. It is really just what happened this week. That's the truth. That's
right.
concrete. That is hard law. This was the most surprising, I guess you would say, score of the week was this Baltimore killing of Miami. So another weird Miami thing where like they scored 70 points, but they also had 50 something points scored. They had 56
You're
points scored on them. It was 19 to
you're
56.
we're gonna circle back to this during the awards when I give you a shocking who won the week.
Oh, so the obvious thing is the Lamar MVP talk got a big boost this week because Lamar was awesome. The Ravens look like the best team out there. Miami was in this game for a little bit, but and like you almost knew it wasn't going their way when they threw a touchdown pass at Tyreek to tie the game. He's wide open, he catches it and bobbles it out of the end zone, and they don't get the touchdown. It's like almost it was gonna be like, oh,
You
this is how the
you're
game's gonna go.
you are going to be shocked by my who won the week.
Oh wow, is it HBO Hard Knocks in season?
You know what? They might as well have been a co. a co-winner, but no.
Because I can't wait to
Well,
watch it and see everybody's reaction to this. So that seems very weird. Miami stock is down. I'm not selling all Miami stock yet, but that was shocking that they lost that bad. Were you surprised?
you will be shocked with what I have to
Oh
say.
my God, you are really teasing this. All right, well,
Yeah,
let's go to some other games. Some we'll go fast on, some we'll spend time on. New England at Buffalo. Buffalo should have put this game away way sooner than it did. But
right.
Buffalo's
But
won
but
4 in a row now, 27-21.
they're clicking. They're clicking. But again, the Patriots were in the game. It was they always have tough division games. This division, but
Yeah, they were
yeah,
in it, and Josh Allen did a few like dumb Josh Allen things where he tries to lateral
right.
the ball and he had a fumble, kept them in a little bit. But like you said, division game on the road, they just grind it out and they got the win, and then they get to play Miami for the division next week, Sunday night. Tennessee at Houston, which I am now just calling the CJ Stroud Showcase Tour. It's like, let's just have an exhibition game. This game doesn't matter. Just kind of let's see what you got. Houston wins big 26-3 over a Tennessee team that is really just coming apart at the seams at this point during the season. I think I watched 2 minutes of this game and it was all highlights. It's like, what happened? All right, let me write down the score and I'm moving on. There's no,
See,
I didn't see a big reason to watch this game.
no, but what I do like is that leading into the last week of the season, you got basically the Jaguars, the Texans, going at it for the division. I like that.
Yeah, that's true. Houston has got this win and now they can go at it for their division. What's the matchup next week? Who does Houston
No,
play? Who do the Jaguars play? I'm not sure.
it's the Titans play the Jaguars, yes, and the Colts play the Texans.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. You talked me back into it. I want to watch those games now.
Yeah,
That's the perfect, let me have them on two screens game.
perfect,
And
exact,
I can
exact. Because they will be
swivel.
played at the same. They're going to be played at the same time.
That's the other thing. We had 10 early games this week. Too many games, NFL. Can we split these up somehow?
But remember, no, there's no Monday night game tomorrow.
No, maybe that's why. Could they throw us in one
Yeah,
other Saturday game or something? Just too many
I
early
think
games.
they should have given us a Friday game.
Might as well, right? Everybody's on vacation anyway.
Right.
This is the game I totally thought was going to be the best game of the day. New Orleans at Tampa Bay. I was like, watch, this is going to be an awesome game. And it was kind of boring. New Orleans won. The Baker Mayfield magic ran out. And somehow Derek Carr and the New Orleans
It's
Saints are
I
still
don't.
in the
We'll
hunt
have to
here.
check. We're gonna have to check. I think Baker got hurt at the end of the game.
Oh, did he?
So yeah, and they did not clinch the division. So the Saints, the Falcons, and the Buccaneers are all in it for next year. I'm sorry, next week.
Speaking of the Falcons, they go into Chicago, and I'm calling this now the Fields Showcase game
Right.
because the Bears are still in this. Oh, wait, were they after Sunday night? I'm not sure with the Packers win. But somehow the Bears were still mathematically in the hunt leading into Sunday. And they scored 37 on Atlanta. And the Bears are ending their season on a high note, it seems.
Right.
Fields had a couple plays where you're like, whoa, this guy is awesome. Like, don't sleep on Fields. Get this guy in the right system, the right coach. He could still be the quarterback. So he is bumping up his stock as this season comes to an end right now. Another game that I just kind of like kept an eye on the score. I didn't really watch that game. Now it's time for, well, let's skip through Carolina Jacksonville 26-0. No Trevor Lawrence in this game. Jacksonville once again beats a bad team. So good for you, Jacksonville. LA Rams go to the New York Giants. The Giants are very feisty. The Rams win this game by 1 point. There was a bad
Did you
Stafford pick.
did you see though? More importantly, um, the reaction Coach Dable had, I think, with the play calling of the Giants' offensive coordinator. It just looked like there's some severe dysfunction in that organization right now.
We should have an award after next week most dysfunctional team. And like, who
Oof.
could like the Giants would be in there? A sneaky entry would be the Chiefs. We'll talk
No.
about their game.
We'll talk. The Panthers owner threw a drink at
Oh,
someone today. So
that's good. That's good. Most dysfunctional team would be a great, but you have to go through the season first. We got to go through all 18 games.
right.
All right. Do you want to do the RIP to the Raiders playoff hopes? Because that happened today
Well,
too.
yes. RIP and Patrick. Here we go. You got next year, bud.
It's officially see you next year time for the Raiders because they were mathematically eliminated today from the playoffs. It was funny if they had won today and the Chiefs had lost today, they would have had a shot at the division still.
Right.
So the Vegas goes into Indianapolis. No Josh Jacobs. He was wearing he cut the sleeves off his hoodie and he was on the sideline with just these like guns of arms on the sideline. I thought that was an interesting sideline look. But I really think even though they lost and they have to play next week for nothing, this is really a Pierce and Aiden O'Connell play for your job next year. 2 games. Like Pierce,
Yes.
is it worth you as a head coach? O'Connell, do you belong in the league as a starter next year? So there's still something to play for here. And I wouldn't mind bringing Pierce back next year in hopes of getting the big fish like the Harbaugh or something the year after. I think
Sure.
that's a very possible scenario. Once again, the Raiders did nothing on offense. it's it is somehow we're still in this game. And what happens on the last drive? We have I wrote it down. The Raiders are down 10. They get it inside the 10. They throw the ball in the middle. Clock ticks. It's 3rd down. They do a QB sneak. They don't get it. It's 4th down, and they throw a jump ball to Devontae. Somehow he catches it against his shoulder pad. And they do one of the more awesome onside kicks that I've seen in a while. I don't know if you saw the onside kick, but the kicker sets it up and he does the quick switcheroo at the last second and kicks the ball the opposite direction. And it almost worked. Like it grazed a Colts shoulder pad. And then the guy in the second wave caught it cleanly. But I was like, this is exactly how the season's going to go. We're going to get the onside and we get to throw a Hail Mary. But I mean, the Raiders defense got run all over the place. O'Connell was a mess, but then every once in a while he'd have a great play. So that's about how the Raiders season went. They should have
Tell
been
me,
better.
first instinct, is Antonio Pierce your coach next year?
My first instinct for a couple reasons is yes. I think he's done enough to prove that he deserves a shot at being a head coach. Number 2, Mark Davis is still on the line for $80 million for,
Gruden.
I already forgot his name. Gruden and McDaniels. They're still all under contract that they're paying both of them. So you're going to bring in another coach and now he's on the payroll too? Like, let's take a year off and let's just pay Pierce as a head coach and take a little money off the books. So I think it makes sense. And I think Pierce has done enough to be the head coach next year. I think the team has bought into him.
Are you okay with that as a Raiders fan?
Yeah. I like the fact that we wouldn't be paying 4 coaches and have only one actually coaching. And I like Pierce. I think there's something here to start. I don't know if he's the longtime coach, but I think he deserves a shot. He got put in a tough situation, no quarterback. Like, here's a rookie quarterback. Play with Aiden O'Connell, Antonio Pierce, and I think he got the most out of him. I think we still have to find a quarterback, whether it's in the draft or through free agency. The Jimmy G experiment did not work whatsoever.
Not at all.
You put him in a tough situation, and I thought he did as well as anybody could do. I think the team bought into him as well. Do you like him next year as a coach, or would you do something different?
I do. I think he deserves a shot.
Okay, we agree. And also, just like, we'll get someone big next year. Like, Harbaugh may be a year away, is my thought. I think if you can get Harbaugh, if he says, here's my number, and you get And if you hit my number, Raiders, I'll take the job. If he says that, then I think you get him. But if he's like, you're going back and forth, then I say wait a year. That's my thought.
I like it.
All right, San Francisco, Washington. We all saw it. The San Francisco bounce back game. Purdy is back. I think there's still a few questions on the San Francisco defensive end because Washington, they didn't score a lot of points, but they did move the ball on them. Howell had a couple of throws that were really sharp and were really right in the middle of the defense. So, any concern with you overall in the San Francisco defense? Do you feel it was jet lag because they had to go across the country?
Yeah.
Anything negative about this game?
But I think no, I don't. They came out healthy. They got the win. So no, nothing negative came out. That's all I care about.
Okay. Late games. We painfully had to watch Pittsburgh at Seattle. Pittsburgh was good. This is good Pittsburgh this week because they put up 30 points. Pittsburgh shows up. They play well. Mason Rudolph is playing like an all-pro somehow. Mike Tomlin, we were going to fire him last week. Mike Tomlin is back. So Pittsburgh wins. Then we had LA Chargers going to Denver, which I called the high hopes game for next year.
Oh, that game, I don't think we need to talk at all about, right?
The only thing I have to talk about is that it's interesting that they benched Russell Wilson and Stidham.
Oh, that was, but it was a business decision by both. I think they from what I'm hearing, they knew that was going to be a sticking point, and that Russell rightfully doesn't have to sign it or amend it, and but then again, they don't have to pay him, right? So I mean, play him. So
yeah,
he's not. Remember, we said this on the show since the beginning. Russell Wilson was not a long-term player for Sean Payton.
Yeah, and this team would definitely be the front runner for most dysfunctional. It just Peyton hates Russell Wilson. They had that little winning streak in the middle of the season. That was kind of like if you're like in a fight with somebody and then all of a sudden like you guys are buddies for like a week and a half and then you go back to fighting. It was like that. Denver is so dysfunctional. I don't know if I would like to see Peyton try and build a team that he likes to see, but gosh, I don't know. I really don't know with Denver. I don't know who they have. They got to get rid of Wilson if Peyton doesn't want him. I don't know who Peyton wants. I don't know with Denver. I'm really confused with them. But they still won 16-9.
Ryan Clark had an interesting take on Sean Payton's tenure, that basically he's acted like a thug, the way he has treated certain people. Remember, it kind of started funny when he was calling out the former coach, the Jets offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett, just calling him like this is the worst coaching job in the history. I mean, it just seemed that he was already kind of doing things that there were some unwritten rules there.
Yeah, he's a hothead, this Peyton guy. It feels like he's the Parcells 2.0. Bit of an old school guy. He's not going to give the stars any leeway. He's going to speak his mind. That was Denver. And then Cincinnati at Kansas City. First half of this game, a lot of KC turmoil. The defense, did you see the defense started yelling at each other and they had to hold each other back? On Kansas City receivers still can't catch ball.
No.
They're still dropping passes. What I do like, and I think it's changed throughout the season, I think Taylor Swift actually understands football now, which I don't think she did at the beginning of the year. Like, she's actually engaged in the game, like, because there was a third down that they didn't convert, and she's like bummed out. Like, she knows they got to punt next. So I like that. I like that she understands the game. I was impressed with this Jake Browning guy, but for 3 quarters, because that last drive was horrible. And then to put a cap on these Chiefs, I think Mahomes willed this team into the win.
He did.
Yeah,
I think
running and passing.
I think that's the only way the Chiefs win from here on out. It's going to come down to Mahomes.
Yeah, Mahomes had the deep pass, and finally a Chiefs guy caught it. But there was a lot of scrambles where he put it on the receiver, and then Mahomes had two big runs for first downs that he made happen. The other thing with Mahomes, even though he's not Mahomes like we know him from a few years ago, he's not getting hit hard. Like even when he gets sacked, he's not taking a big hit. So somehow he's willing this Chiefs team into being in these games late. I wrote down Cincinnati's last drive. Oh, the other before I do the last drive, there was a weird thing. Did you see the Chiefs? The Bengals were punting, and the Chiefs receiver fielded the punt in the end zone and ran it out. I'm like, what is going on, Chiefs coaches? I don't think I've ever seen that. What do we chalk that up to?
That was strange.
It's almost like these players, I forget that they're all like in their early 20s. Like, do you not know the rule that you stand on the 10 and if it goes over your head, you don't you don't go for the ball? Like, do you know that rule in your head? Are you not coached? Are these players all young? They're just learning the rules as they go? I didn't understand that. Here's Cincinnati's very last drive. They're down 8. They start at the 25-yard line, is 2:59 left on the clock. Browning has a 15-yard pass for a first down. Then Browning takes a sack. 2-minute warning. They show the replay. Chris Jones is lined up off sides for the Chiefs. They don't call it. Next play, Browning gets sacked again. It's 4th and 18, and Browning converts a 25-yard pass for the first down. Now it's first down. Browning sacked again. Second down. Browning sacked again. Third down, incomplete. 4th and 27, incomplete. Browning got sacked 3 times on this drive. If he doesn't get sacked 1 time or 2 times, they could put that ball inside the 20. I don't know what the hell he's being coached. Like, you can throw this ball away. I don't understand that at all. He turned into a pumpkin on that last drive.
Yeah, that was terrible. It was terrible. But look, they the Bengals, they were doomed when Joe Burrow was out for the year.
But Browning was good for 3 quarters. He can throw the ball. He's putting it on a dime. I guess the moment was too big for him.
Yeah, it absolutely was. And
but after the first,
a good quarterback.
I think he has some tools though, Browning. You have to say that though, couldn't you?
It's tools, but he's not Joe Burrow, so there's just no chance there for the Bengals.
I don't know. I think quarterbacks can develop. We've seen quarterbacks rehabilitate though. Tua, we thought was going to be a backup a year ago for his career. I think I'm not right now Browning as a worthy quarterback. I thought that last drive was horrible, though. You can't take 3 sacks. Somebody tell him if it's not there, throw it into the sidelines. Jesus, Browning. Casey needed that win really, really bad.
Oh, big time.
What's it going to take for Casey to be back, though, do you think? For them to be a legitimate threat? Because if they go up against Miami, they're not the favorite. If they go up against Baltimore, no way. They're not the favorite. What other AFC teams are out there that they wouldn't be the favorite against? Like, I think they'd be even money on any team. Any team plays them tight.
I don't know. I don't know. I just don't see. I think this is going to be a year where they lose in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
could see it, but I could also see them going to the conference championship just based off Mahomes. Just like one crazy Mahomes game. And also, like, if Travis Kelce can just get another 10% out of him, he's playing at 50% capacity right now. If he can get another 10% out of him, that's another big threat. He is not there this year. Or at least he's not the Kelce that he was years previous. I get that he's older, and these tight ends really, really take some punishment over the years. But they could use a Kelce boost at this point. They're splitting time with the other tight end. That has helped out some. Pacheco was good this game. Really, really fast.
He was great. He's a good player.
Yeah, I could see one tweak and the Chiefs could threaten a Baltimore if they got into it, but this was all Mahomes to me today. He was just like, we're not losing this. I'm doing whatever it takes. If I have to throw the ball into your stomach and catch it myself, I will do it. There was a one weird play where Mahomes, he was going to throw the ball, but he double clutched it, but the ball came out. Like his arm was going forward, the ball came out, and Mahomes sprinted to go get the ball like it was a fumble. It was a weird play where, like, usually if the quarterback knows it's incomplete, he wouldn't chase the ball. But Mahomes chases this ball like it's a fumble. Made me a little worried, but it was incomplete anyway. Casey gets the win. They needed that really, really bad because they looked bad against the Raiders last week. And then we covered Green Bay, Minnesota. But what we didn't cover was that NBC did a full-on New Year's Eve style broadcast, which I thought was pretty cool. Did you see Collinsworth and Tirico?
I love dress to the nines tonight.
Melissa Stark on the sideline too was dressed up in some
Champagne.
Yeah, they had champagne for the. I almost wanted them to do more. Like, let's get some interviews with some fans and see
That would have been
what they're
cool.
up to. That was good. And they were the only show that did anything New Year's related on the broadcast. Tell me if you rank the broadcast the same way I do. I got NBC Sunday Night Football number 1. I've got Romo Nance number 2. And I've got the lead team, Greg Olson and somebody for Fox, a distant third.
I am still going to be a Troy Aikman, Joe Buck first.
Oh, Monday night. I didn't include them. Right. Forgot.
I will go then to Romo Nance, and then I have Sunday Night Football.
You got them in third, huh?
I have some opinions on Collinsworth performance tonight.
Oh, what didn't you like? Because let's go to Collinsworth next. I'm gonna say this. I wonder if we have the same thought. They start Nick Mullins in the second half. He throws one completed pass, and Collinsworth compares him to Brett Favre. He's like, well, they went to the same college. God bless you, Chris Collinsworth. He's really selling the broadcast. Mullins gave him a little life in that first drive of the second half, but then they turned it over on downs and they didn't even get any points. Minnesota's D was bad too.
Yeah, that was horrible.
That was horrible. And in the post-game interview with Champagne was fun. So you didn't like Collinsworth broadcast tonight? What's going on?
Your father and I heard some of the worst lines. Collinsworth says, think about playing football is when you play, the first thing you got to do is you got to breathe.
That's a good Collinsworth line.
It's a great Collinsworth line.
It was a bad game, and the announcers got to take over. Like, they had to turn into Mahomes and take over, make this game kind of fun. Collinsworth, you got to breathe. You got to remember to breathe, Mike. My bow tie's cutting off my circulation, Mike. Are you okay with the bow tie? I wonder if that was a fight. They were like, guys, we're going to dress you up in tuxedos. And Collinsworth was like, I'm not putting on any tuxedo. And like, come on, it's for the show. I wonder if that was a big fight or not.
Must have been.
You might be right there. All right, that was the Sunday games. A lot of games, even the Saturday game, which was really good. Dallas really bailed out by Philly this week. That brings us to trivia for the week. I've been threatening this trivia for a few weeks, but it's finally time, Omar. Are you ready for a little trivia on New Year's Eve of 2023?
Let's do it.
This trivia game is called Prescription Medication or TikTok Rapper.
Okay.
All right. I got 5 names. I'm going to give you the name. I'm going to see if you can guess if this is a prescription medication or a TikTok rapper. Are you ready for the first one?
Let's do it.
First one, C-Pro. Is this a TikTok rapper or a prescription medication?
I want to go with the TikTok rapper.
Omar guesses TikTok rapper. Cipro is a antibiotic used for urinary tract infections. Oh, spelled Cipro.
Okay.
All right, you're 0 for 1, but now let's get into it here. Next name, prescription medication or TikTok rapper. Permax.
TikTok rapper.
Permax is used for muscle control for people with Parkinson's disease. Oh,
wow.
0 for 2.
This is hard.
All right, number 3. Come on, you can still turn it around. Too rare.
TikTok rapper.
I tried to say it fast so I wouldn't give it away, but it's spelled the number 2 and rare. Is a 23-year-old rapper whose big song is called Side Bitches.
Nice.
And that's off the album Truth or Rare. So you want to go out and
pretty cool too.
You want to pick that up. All right, okay, you're on the board. You got that one. You got 2 rare. Next one. Flo Mealy.
TikTok rapper.
Flo Mealy is a 23-year-old TikTok rapper. You are correct. Flo Mealy has an album from 2022 called You Still Here, Ho? So I might want to get that album too. All right, last one. Let's see if you can flip the score here. Didi Osama.
TikTok rapper.
Didi Osama is a 17-year-old rapper. You are correct. That is right. I think they should keep going with the theme and have a song called Who's Your Baghdadi? Keep it going with the Middle East theme, you know? Didi Osama. All right.
That was a good one.
You went 3 for 2 on that one. See, that's a harder game than most people would think. TikTok rapper or prescription medication. All right, you did pretty good. Okay, that brings us to the awards for week 17. We got a lot this week. First award, best quote. I've got 2 funny ones that made me laugh. At some point during the Kansas City game, Kansas City's dropped a few passes. And I think it was Romo. I don't think it was Nance. I think it was Romo said, we talked about their balls dropping.
Nice. That's funny.
Like he said it naturally too. So it was totally off the cusp. Like we talk about their ball dropping. That's quote number 1. Or Phil Simms was describing, I think someone from the Colts who was having a good game on the ground saying he's angry at the ground. I thought that was a good Phil Simms line.
That was a good one.
He's angry at the ground.
Mine I said already is Collinsworth saying, well, first thing about football, first thing you got to do when you're playing is you got to breathe. I lost it for Chris Collinsworth.
The perennial all-star on this show is Chris Collinsworth. Next award, Hot Take Award. I got 3 nominees. I got Jordan Love gets a big contract. I got Mike Vrabel gets fired in the offseason. And I got Arizona makes the playoffs next year. I got 3 hot takes, and I'm going to go with Vrabel gets fired in the offseason. But if you were to give me good odds on Arizona next year making the playoffs, I'd be interested. I think they got something there. They'll probably get a new coach, get some new players. I like that team all of a sudden going into the end of the year here. What do you think? Hot take for the week?
Hot take for the week? You have a compelling one. But my hot take, I think I already said this one as well. Kansas City, this will be the first year that they, in a long time, they will not win a playoff game.
Wow, that's pretty hot.
Yeah, that's a hot one.
Who do we anticipate them playing in the first round? Are they going to go to Cincinnati? I guess we have to wait till next week.
Yeah, we have to see, but it's going to be interesting.
Next award, Best Innovation. For my Best Innovation, This is an innovation I want to be created. It doesn't exist currently. You know how we got like all these receiver stats, like when DJ Metcalf like was in the open field, they clocked him at 23 miles an hour. Why can't we have a speed gun on quarterbacks throwing passes? You know, like we have it in baseball. We're like, oh, that pitch was 86 miles an hour. How come we can't clock the quarterback's passes so we know how fast the ball's going? Wouldn't you like to see
that'd be
that?
something.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Like, remember a couple years ago, we had all these stats with field goals? Like, it would say, like, how good the field goal would have been for, like, how long it would have been. Like, oh, yeah, you made a 40-yarder, but it would have been good from 55. And it had, like, its max height. Why can't we have quarterback pass stats, like a speed gun or its arc or, like, how high it went? I would.
That'd be nice. I
That's
like.
my innovation.
I wanna piggyback off yours. That's a great one.
Yeah, yeah. Like, get on that, NFL, for next year. It can't be that hard to implement that. I'd like to know who throws the fastest pass. Like, who's got the fastball out there?
Right.
I'd like to know. Do you have a best innovation for the week
No, I like yours.
besides the massive shrimp cocktail tray that you've been demolishing?
Right.
How much is left there? Hold the tray up to the camera. Let me see.
Oh, it's over there. There's plenty left.
Now I'll take your word for it. Next award is the Cringeworthy Award. I got a few nominees. Number one nominee, this comes from the Las Vegas Raiders, Indianapolis Colts game. The Raiders are down 7 points. They hold the Colts to a field goal. He misses the field goal, but the Raiders jump off sides. They get 5 more yards. The guy drills the field goal. 10-point lead. Cringeworthy to watch that. KC punt returner fielding the punt in the end zone was pretty cringeworthy. All the Minnesota sad faces this Sunday night. The coach, the players, Kirk Cousins on the sideline. But you know what else I'm adding to the cringeworthy award is just NFL offense in general. We see some bad offense from time to time.
Horrible
Bad clock management, bad interceptions, Josh Allen doing dumb laterals. I'm going to just say it's offense. The offense is cringeworthy for every single team at some point, except Baltimore today. Jesus. Cringeworthy.
My cringeworthy award. Patrick, you watching the Panthers owner throw a drink at a Jaguars fan.
I didn't see that. I'm going to have to watch that.
Oh, it was bad.
Hey, it's been a rough year for the Panthers.
It's been a rough year, but you can't do that.
Right. You got to have some sort of class. You're in the luxury box. Don't throw a drink down to the peasants. Did you also see, who was it? I think it was in the Giants-Rams game. I think, a Rams guy scores a touchdown and he goes over to give the ball to what looked like his mom in the stands, and a Giants fan takes the ball away from the mom, but the mom wrestles it back and gets it from him like a true, like, kind of stripping the ball away from him. It was pretty good. I really like that. I'm going to give that one some cringeworthy, taking the fan away from the player's mom, too.
I like that.
Brutal. Best costume design is our next award. Fan favorite award, too. I got 2 nominees. One is the NBC anchor whose name I don't know. It's a black guy. He had the shiniest blue suit on today, which I thought looked pretty cool.
I did like it.
And of course, Tirico and Collinsworth in the tuxedos. I thought they nailed it with the New Year's Eve attire. And then they put on top hats at the end of the broadcast too. I like that. Those are my, they're splitting the award. Splitting the award for me as well. Do you have a best costume design?
I did. I appreciated, it's an old school one. I did appreciate the Dallas Cowboys wearing blue at home.
Oh, yeah. That was interesting. I got confused when they came on the screen. I said, I thought this game was in Dallas. I guess it's in Detroit. And then I saw it was in Dallas. Nice change of pace. Big win for Dak in that game, I got to say. Next award, Advice Alley. I've got two. I got number one. Let me give some advice to Sean Payton. Make friends with Russell Wilson now because he's totally going to fire him and cut his ass in 2 months. So, like,
Right.
pretend to be nice now. And then I got whoever the Jacksonville Jaguars play in the first round of the playoffs, bet on that team. Jacksonville is not good. I am convinced they are not good. They can't play a good team. So whoever they play in the first round, put all your money on that team. Those are my two advices.
Ooh, that's another good one. But my advice, Sally, is it's uh, referees get plenty of rest. I would hate to see the playoffs get lost because of a call, So I want the referees to do to be at their best when the playoffs start.
Yeah, that would be good. And no dumb like offensive stuff where it's like confusing or you're running a play that's a good play, but you line up wrong or anything like that. Like let's be on it. Like let's be on it, offenses and refs. Like refs, let's get the tripping calls correct. Let's get it all. Let's iron it out. Let's be on our top of our game. That being said, we know it's going to happen. We know something is going to happen. I would almost welcome let's have it like a pass interference call or no call. That's debatable because at least that's debatable. If someone's standing on the over the line and offsides, then that's not debatable. Like let's at least have something that is controversial and that you can make either side of the argument.
Correct.
Okay, that brings us to the next award, the Sunday double feature.
Wait a minute. I've been waiting for this.
Oh, you want to go first? Oh, who won the week? That's coming up next. That's the last award.
Oh, you're going to do the double feature for, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
What's your double feature? You go first.
All right. We had the game in Minnesota. A lot of shots of Minnesota as a city too. Looked really, really good. So I was reminded of that movie. Do you remember that movie, Young Adult, where Charlize Theron lives in Minneapolis or something? It's kind of a dark movie, but it's in that Midwest, makes you think. And, we're post-holidays can be a sad time sometimes. You get kind of deflated. The holidays are over. You got to go back to work. It's cold out. So throw on Young Adult. Let's get bummed out all the way. And let's have it in Minnesota too.
Okay, I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
My double feature. What would be a good what's a good New Year's movie?
New Year's. I was trying to think
What would
about
you
this
say-
too. There really aren't a lot of New Year's movies. There is a lot of Christmas. You know what you could go? Remember the scene in Forrest Gump where him and Captain Dan get the two hookers?
I'll go with that one. That's a cool one.
And he says she smells like cigarettes. That was on New Year's, right?
Yeah, that was a New Year's Eve party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good one. Last award. Who won the week? You're sitting on something here, so I'm gonna let you go first.
The Miami Dolphins won the week.
All right, you're gonna have to explain yourself.
They baited the Ravens. They showed them something that they are not going to do when they play. That was by design.
So you think that was a rope-a-dope?
Exactly.
That was a rope-a-Lamar? There were so explain yourself. What's the strategy here? Was this a strategy going in? Was it halftime when they said like, "Hey, let's not show them anything"? What do you think's going on?
Let's give them something that they're gonna feel like geniuses, and there was a rope-a-dope.
Wow. So it's like, let's give up the MVP award to potentially gain the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Interesting. All right. I'm putting a star by that right now. I'm going to see how that plays out. Interesting. Wow. You were right. I did not see your Who Won the Week coming. All right. I got 4 nominees for my Who Won the Week. I got number 1, Kyler Murray won the week.
Okay, he did.
I got Minnesota Stadium might have won the week. It looked awesome.
It is. It's always looking good.
I got HBO Hard Knocks in season because now we get to see what's going on with Miami during the season this coming week, this coming Tuesday. And lastly, I got Vacation Football as a nominee for who won the week. Like, we just flip on the channel. You're like, oh, Saturday football? Oh, great. I'll watch it. Last week, we had 3 games on the Monday. Oh, let's watch it. Let's sit down. There's a game coming on after it. Oh, perfect. I got nowhere to be.
You know what I like? I want to say also someone won the week in the Chicago Bears won the week because with the Panthers loss, the Chicago Bears get the #1 pick.
Yep, that's
in the
true.
draft.
That's true. The Bears are set up pretty good to make some offseason moves this year. I hope they do. I hope they get back in the mix because, man, the Bears have had ups and downs. Other award postseason should be like most team with most ups and downs. Bears would be in there. Probably Broncos would be in there. My Raiders might be in there as well. Most ups and downs. All right, that was the awards. That brings us to 1 game only that's left. What? Oh, wait, there is no Monday night game this week.
There's no Monday night game.
No Monday night game because I'm assuming
Football.
It's because we've got the 2 college games and NFL was kind enough to yield the night to
1 night
college football. So we got those 2 games. But you know what we can predict, Omar, is let's try and predict this Buffalo-Miami game for the division title next week on Sunday Night Football. It's in Miami. Did I write that down right?
Yes.
Okay, so very good chances we have perfect conditions. It's not going to be cold. We'll have to check. Might rain, but we're not going to have bitter cold Buffalo conditions. So, What do you think? Predict the game. Buffalo at Miami for the AFC East division title.
Josh Allen gets a signature win, a signature regular season win in his career, and upsets the Miami Dolphins.
Do you think it's going to be a close game? Is he going to have
It's
to?
going to be a great game. It's going to be a close game. It's going to come down to the last drive.
I like it. I see a big game from Diggs too. I could see that happening. How about a turnover? Do you see a turnover swinging this game at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Just like in any other big game. Absolutely.
Special teams? Anything from special teams going to swing the game?
Nothing.
Okay. I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go Miami, and I'm going to tell you why. All year long, as soon as we get on a team that we think they're good, they lose the next week. As soon as we say a team is not good and they're not gonna make the playoffs, they turn around and win the next week. So I'm gonna go Miami 22, Buffalo 17 for the AFC East title.
That's a good call. I like that.
That's my prediction. Well, what about you? Have you recovered from the holidays?
Oh yeah, as you can see, I'm here super relaxed.
And what's the plan for New Year's Day? Are you over it? Are you going to lay low? Is there any celebrations in mind?
We're just watching football at the house. I'm probably going to go for a workout around noon. And other than that, that's it.
And you're still hanging out with my parents a lot. Is that right?
Yes. It's a good time. It's a good time.
I like how you and my dad are watching Sunday Night Football and commenting on Chris Collinsworth now.
Yes. It's bringing us closer together.
The second my graduation pictures come off the wall at the house and your pictures go up, I'm going to have concerns, Omar. It's going to be a red flag. I'm just a little nervous about this. I
like it.
You're in a robe eating shrimp cocktail. All right, that was week 17 in the NFL. Goodbye, Raiders playoff hopes. Purdy's back. Dallas is back. Questions for Philadelphia. The holidays are over. We did it. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thank you, Omar.
Good night. Good night.
That's it. That's the show. That's week 17. That's New Year's Eve. That's New Year's Day. That's Sunday Night Football. That's Saturday Night Football. That's college playoff football coming up the next day. Oh my God. Let's all listen to the words of Chris Collinsworth and breathe. Hey, don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please do it. Click it. Every subscriber counts. All my stuff is up there. And if you want to see me doing live stand-up comedy, I will be in Venice, California, February 17th. That's coming up. Chance to come see me. It's going to be a great show. Well, week 17 is over. Christmas is over. New Year's is over. 2024 now. It's almost time for playoffs. It's going to be a big slate next week. Everybody's going back to work this week. So everybody breathe. Yeah, we'll make it. Thank you, Omar, for joining me on the Sunday Night Talk. Thank you, listeners, for tuning into the show. Hey, and I'll be back next week. I will bring it. Because we got more stuff to talk about. The Sunday Night Talk with me, Patrick Ramirez, for week 17. See you next week, everybody.